After an EF4 tornado brought devastation to parts of Tennessee, local rabbis here in Lexington decided to step up. Coming up, I spoke with Rabbi Litvin about their efforts to help those in need.
Kentucky lawmakers are discussing the state's 2-year spending plan, the progress being made today just weeks before the session ends.
In today's Good Question, we discuss coronavirus testing in the state of Kentucky.
This is Wkyt News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. Cleanup continues in Tennessee after deadly tornadoes hit the Nashville area early Tuesday.
Nashville Mayor John Cooper gave an update at a news conference today. Officials say that 25 people died in the storms. Others are still missing. Cooper says officials have identified almost 400 homes and nearly 200 commercial structures that were either destroyed or received major damage.
The widespread damage has encouraged Kentuckians to pitch in and lend a hand wherever they can.
3 rabbis from Kentucky were among those who helped with recovery efforts. Wkyt meteorologist Adam Berniston talked with them about their mission to help out. It's our top story at 5:30.
It was a night many will remember for the rest of their lives. And now, as people try to pick up the pieces left behind, a group of Lexington religious leaders are trying to help out any way they can. On Wednesday, rabbis with the Chabad of the Bluegrass personally traveled down to Nashville to deliver thousands of shoes, coats, shirts, and much more to be distributed to those in need.
Working with the Community Resource Center there and Hands Across Nashville, we worked with an incredible team of volunteers down there. I finally understand why Tennessee is called a volunteer state, to get it to people who can give it out to those who need it in the community.
And while Cookeville was one of the hardest hit areas experiencing an EF4 tornado, in Nashville, the National Weather Service confirmed an EF3 with winds of 165 miles an hour had hit there. And while it's one thing to see the devastation and destruction firsthand, Rabbi Litvin also told me about the sense of community that was present there as well.
While at the same time extremely emotionally hard, was also uplifting to see the faith in that community that despite the loss, they were there both not only rebuilding themselves, but helping those around them, helping their community.
And as for the reason behind this act of kindness, Rabbi Litvin refers to his mentor giving advice about how we all can help change the world one small step at a time.
Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, my personal mentor and one of the leaders of world Judaism, said that all that's waiting for major change to take place in the world, for this world to be a better place, is random acts of goodness and kindness. It's just being that positive force in the world.
In Lexington, meteorologist Adam Berniston, Wkyt.
The items the Chabad of the Bluegrass provided came from their program called Project Friendship. That program has already been helping provide clothes to people in need across the Commonwealth.
You can help those impacted by the devastating tornadoes in Tennessee. Wkyt is teaming up with the American Red Cross and 98.1 The Bull for the Kentucky Cares Relief Drive. It's from 3 to 7 tomorrow. You can call in and make a donation, or you can donate right now online. We have a link on Wkyt.com already ready for you.
Kentucky lawmakers are discussing the state's 2-year spending plan. It comes with just weeks to go in the regular session.
Governor Beshear laid out his priorities for the budget earlier this year. Wkyt's Phil Pendleton is in Frankfort and has more about the ongoing debate and what's been discussed today.
The goal is to get the budget out of the House committee tonight, to get a second reading on the House floor, and then for the full House to vote on the budget tomorrow. Now, the House Appropriations and Revenue Committee met upon recess of the House today. They are discussing 3 budget bills. They quickly voted on the revenue bill. There was not much mention of the revenue measures the governor proposed, like vaping or cigarette taxes, sports wagering, or a limited liability corporation tax hike. It does apparently include several tax credits, like a bio tax credit. Now, we're still trying to get more information on what they voted on with a committee sub and how that is different from what the governor proposed. Now, as for the executive branch budget, it does include a pay raise for teachers and state workers. However, it's the same pay raise for both groups.
It does include a 1% increment raise for all state employees, all certified and classified employees at local school districts in each year.
The Appropriations and Revenue Committee right now is still going through the budget. They hope to have a vote on the full budget in committee and to have the full House vote on the spending plan tomorrow morning. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, Wkyt.
Now, if the budget passes the House tomorrow, it will then go to the Senate. By state law, the budget must be approved by adjournment of the General Assembly by April 15th.
A Madison County man is now facing several charges. State police say that James Leach assaulted Madison County deputies. While he was in the back of a Berea police cruiser, they say Leach would kick and hit his head against the cage. Troopers say he continued to the point where they needed to use pepper spray. Leach is charged with resisting arrest and terroristic threatening.
The Lexington Police Department is asking for any information about a hit and run. They say a woman was hit by two cars. It happened about 9 Monday night at Georgetown Street and Lima Drive, right off of New Circle. Police found a woman in the road. They say witnesses reported that she was hit by possibly a red, boxy vehicle that left the scene. She was still in the street when police say she was hit a second time by a black car. If you have any information related to the incident, you're asked to call Lexington Police.
Today, we saw some spring-like weather out there with temperatures near 60 degrees.
But, you know, like typical Kentucky weather, it doesn't stay the same way for very long. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey says some cold air is dropping in tonight for us. He's tracking the latest.
Yeah, a little touch of some winter weather possible across the southeastern corner of the state, especially. But I do think even here in Lexington, don't be surprised if you see some flurries flying around at some point tomorrow. Here you go with a winter weather advisory into southeastern Kentucky. And right now, temperatures are generally 60 to 65 degrees for many areas. We're down into the upper 50s across the north, but again, those 60s are showing up. Here's our cold front, has that broken band of some rain along and ahead of this. Behind it, you got colder air. That is a pocket of very cold air. Upstairs especially, but at the surface too. That'll be on top of us as you get deeper into the day tomorrow. Can that broken band of showers survive into the dry air that is across central and eastern Kentucky? I do think that is a possibility middle and latter part of the evening, and that will usher in the colder air. Take a look at the future radar by around 9. It's got that band of some rain into Covington. By 11 or so, it is across central Kentucky. From there, here comes that colder air with a threat for snow showers and flurries through not only tomorrow morning, but even into tomorrow afternoon. Look at the swath of out-and-out snows. If you're going to be traveling eastbound into parts of West Virginia especially, some areas up around Snowshoe may be picking up, just better than 12 to 15 inches of snow in some areas. Lowlands will get it on some of that, and that includes parts of eastern Kentucky. That'll go away tomorrow night, and from there, Amber, we're going to be talking about a full-blown spring pattern taking shape by this weekend.
Sounds really good, Chris. Thank you. An eastern Kentucky man learned today how long he'll spend in prison for murder. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Perry County. A jury convicted James McIntosh in January of murder and tampering with evidence. That was for the murder of Danny Mullins in February of last year. It happened at a home on Four Seam Branch Road. A judge sentenced James McIntosh to 20 years for murder and 5 years for tampering with evidence. Those sentences will run concurrently. In Boyle County, deputies arrested a man after a shots fired incident. Deputies got a call about a possible drive-by shooting near Bluegrass Pike. They stopped a vehicle and the passenger identified as Tavion Goodman from Harrodsburg. He was the one who was shooting, police say. Deputies say several guns were found in a car near Goodman. Officials say Goodman had an active DVO that stated he was armed and dangerous and was not allowed to possess firearms. Goodman faces several charges, including wanton endangerment. In Laurel County, a man is facing drug charges after deputies say they found him in a stolen car. Deputies arrested Jordan Bowles. They found him in the car around noon yesterday. When they arrested Bowles, deputies ended up finding meth. Bowles is charged with receiving stolen property and possession of a controlled substance.
As you might well imagine, we have had many viewers ask us a variety of questions concerning the coronavirus. Phil has our good question tonight. He says, why are hospitals and doctor offices not testing for the coronavirus in Lexington? Well, just this afternoon, the governor just announced testing will be done in Frankfort. That's the first time a location in Kentucky has been named. The CDC chose to use its own test kits instead of the ones recommended by the WHO, the World Health Organization. Some of those tests initially proved to be flawed, those kits. As of yesterday, there are only about 70 labs currently able to test the CDC's kits. This includes hospitals, military bases, and state and local public health labs. So basically, there are not enough kits to test every person who comes into a doctor's office with flu-like symptoms. And that's why doctors are relying on questionnaires to help determine who might be at risk of the virus. Vice President Pence says that 2,500 test kits are being distributed around the country this week, and those are capable of testing, they believe, more than 1.5 million patients, still a small number. We should reiterate, though, that there are still 0 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Kentucky. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@wkyt.com. Farriers from around the world here in the Bluegrass for the World Horseshoeing Classic. We'll tell you how you can get in on the action in about 5 minutes.
I'm Bill Bryant. The Democratic presidential race is reshaped again as Elizabeth Warren drops out. And 4 of the candidates hoping to face Senator Mitch McConnell this fall will share the stage this evening. The bottom line is on the way.
The Democratic presidential race continues to narrow as Elizabeth Warren drops out.
And several candidates hoping to take on Senator Mitch McConnell will take the stage tonight. Bill Bryant has the latest in today's Bottom Line.
Good evening. This is a major election year in Kentucky with the presidential race, of course, and voters will also be deciding whether to give the state's longest-serving U.S. senator ever another term. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, is hoping to win a 7th 6-year term in D.C. 4 of the Democrats who are hoping to take McConnell on in the fall will share the stage this evening in northern Kentucky. State Representative Charles Booker, retired Marine Amy McGrath, farmer Mike Breuer, and mental health counselor Jimmy Osbrooks are all taking part. This evening's forum is hosted by a grassroots organization working to drive up political involvement in northern Kentucky. That free event will start shortly at 6 o'clock at the Southgate's house in Newport. There has been yet another shakeup in the Democratic presidential race today. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has ended her campaign after a disappointing finish in the Super Tuesday states. Warren has not endorsed either Bernie Sanders or Joe Biden so far. She started out with strong polling numbers and early fundraising success, but in the end, she wasn't able to win even her home state, finishing 3rd behind Biden and Sanders. Despite worldwide concerns about the coronavirus, the housing market in central Kentucky remains hot so far. And members of the Lexington Bluegrass Association of Realtors join us for some of this weekend's Kentucky newsmakers. Elbar's CEO and the current president say the spring home shopping season is getting an early start, some homes being sold within hours of being listed. But they say the market is challenged by low inventory, not enough homes for sale in affordable price ranges. You can see our full discussion on Kentucky Newsmaker Sunday morning at 6 on WKYT or Sunday at 10 a.m. on the CW Lexington. Longtime sports executive Jim Host wrote an op-ed published by the Herald Leader today in favor of sports betting in the state. Host says he hasn't always supported the concept, but he says after the Supreme Court legalized it and neighboring states have approved it, it only makes sense for Kentucky to do the same. Opponents have also been outspoken, and a proposal appears stalled right now in the state legislature. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Hundreds of farriers are here in the Bluegrass for the World Horseshoeing Classic. Mitch Taylor is the owner and director of the Kentucky Horseshoeing School. This is his 11th year hosting the event that draws people from around the world. The judges are looking for both skill and artistry from these world-class farriers with a title, bragging rights, and $10,000 on the line. The event runs through Saturday at the Kentucky Horseshoeing School. It's free and open to the public.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Really good looking Thursday here across central and eastern Kentucky. Tomorrow, it's the one little speed bump we got to get over before we can get into even more springtime weather later this weekend into next week. 9 different sky cams, and we are showing you a fair amount of sunshine in all those cams. Farther into the southeast we go. We've had a little more cloud cover with the southern system. Then into the Bluegrass region, almost full sunshine. Better part of the day, and some of those high clouds are beginning to creep on into the picture. Winds coming at us from the west and southwest, getting ready to shift to the northwest behind a cold front. Now, this front has the really cold air lagging behind it, but those 30s now into the Cedar Rapids area will be on top of us into the day tomorrow. So we're going to enjoy that mild evening. Nothing going on. First Alert Radar Network. Here's that teeny tiny little band of some showers. That is zipping its way through. Now, the air around here is bone dry. Humidity's down roughly 25-26% in some cases. So that'll have a struggle in holding together. But it's got right ahead of a cold front with that cold air coming in behind it. That will lead to some snow showers tomorrow. Southeastern Kentucky, can we put a little snow on the ground on a Friday? Are you kidding? It is a possibility with some light stuff tomorrow. Coatings to upwards of a few inches along the high mountains of the Virginia border counties. So we got a winter weather advisory, Harlan County and Letcher County. Coatings, hit and run, may show up into parts of central Kentucky. Let's go to the weekend. Let's check on the emojis. They're still smiling. You got the sun coming up for Saturday and especially for Sunday. 60 to 65 degrees, similar to what we're dealing with right now. And that is coming up on your Sunday when you also gain a little bit of sunshine. We spring forward with those clocks 1 hour before going to bed Saturday night. You're going to lose some sleep, but you're going to gain that sunset. So instead of sunset time at around 6:30, now you're going to be talking about a sunset time that is 7:30-ish and growing later and later. Now, next week is a mild pattern. It's also a busy pattern. Waves of thunderstorms are going to come calling. The early look at this spring suggests it is milder than normal and wetter than normal. Not exactly a shock on either of those. I mean, that's basically been the pattern no matter the season. But when you're talking about a wetter than normal pattern in the spring, just know you can get in on thunderstorms. Obviously, this time of year, that severe weather season is off and running already with the tornadoes of western Kentucky and down into Tennessee just a few days ago in early March. And what we do is we get deeper into March and April and May, our severe weather season continues to kick into high gear. So this weekend, looking good after tomorrow's flakes, and you better soak it up because next week, even though it's mild, we're probably going to see some thunderstorms.
All right, need that warning just in case.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Brian's up next, and one of the pods for the NCAA Division III women's basketball tournament is right here in Lexington starting tomorrow.
Transy is ranked 9th, and they believe they have the team to go a long way. Despite losing a 17-point lead to Tennessee, Kentucky still had chances to win. We'll talk about it next. As you know, everything seemed to be moving in the right direction for the basketball Wildcats before a wave of orange rolled into Rupp on Tuesday. The Cats losing to Tennessee and snapping an 8-game winning streak. The players say this time they did not make the winning plays down the stretch, and they'll learn from it.
I say as a team we didn't get it done, but I didn't get it done myself as well. So just got to look in the mirror first before you try to put it on anybody else. So I'll be better against Florida.
We didn't make those winning plays that we normally make. Certain rebounds that me, Ashton, or Quick, come up with. We hold full responsibility for not coming up with those today. And like I said, we're going to try to do our best to do those winning plays on Saturday.
Morehead State season coming to an end last night in the opening round of the OVC tournament. The Eagles down 9 with 4 minutes to play against Tennessee State before making a late run to force overtime. The Eagles would eventually lose 74-67. Morehead State finishes the year with a 13-19 record. EKU takes on Tennessee State tonight in the quarterfinals. When you're 25-2 and just obliterating opponents left and right, winning the regular season and conference tournaments, and you're still surprised to be hosting an NCAA game. Shows you how good NCAA D3 basketball can be. The Transylvania Lady Pioneers have been nearly unbeatable this season. And this is the time for Transy to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. Transy is a host site, and they feel as if they have the complete team.
I mean, we have the guard play, the post play, the ability to rebound and defend. And I think our biggest strength is our flexibility. We have been able to go in and out of playing bigger lineups, smaller lineups, and really, zone, man, we kind of do it all depending on what we need each night. But at the end of the day, we have shooters that can score and keep us in any game, and our ability to defend. That's kind of been, our key this year. We're defending at a really high level, which has made it a lot easier in a lot of ways.
And they're scoring at an even higher level. We'll have more sports in about a half an hour.
All right, Brian, we'll see you then. Thank you. Coming up at 6, while there are no confirmed cases of the coronavirus here in Kentucky, Governor Beshear says several people have been tested.
We will hear from Governor Beshear as health officials work to keep people in Kentucky safe. WKYT News at 6 comes your way next.